They are looking really nice, these. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. That one definitely is ready there. There's one missing out in the middle, and that was an absolutely beautiful cauliflower. Cut that out about a week ago, and I hadn't turned the camera on. I was very proud of that. Anyway, let's see what these are like. My God, there's a lot of whitefly on them, I know that. The whitefly have certainly exploded this last week. Look at that, that is gorgeous, that one. Just about right, it's just starting to open up the head. That's bound for the freezer, that one as well. What about that one there? I'm gonna take that one because I think it's ready. Look at all this whitefly. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. That's the trouble with having things under nets. Things like whitefly thrive because they've got no predators under a net. Oh, lovely. This one, which I think might be the biggest, actually. Gorgeous, that one. Beautiful. And this one. I'm going to take the other one as well, guys. I'm going to take all of them. There's no point leaving one collie in the middle of the bed, especially with all this whitefly. So if I get them out, I can get rid of the whitefly as well. It's not going to get that much bigger, I don't think, that one. It's probably just going to open up that. It's only a little baby, but it's a lovely collie. Oh God, yeah. Oh yes. Really happy with them. There's a little tiddler collie. And that is the biggest one, I think. Well, they're pretty much the same, them two. And 3. The first one I cut was maybe 1.5 inch wide, and that it was a beautiful cauliflower. I'm just ashamed that some idiot didn't turn the camera on. Anyway, that's all bound for the freezer now. I'm going to show you that broccoli. I'm going to cut one of them as well because I may as well process that tonight whilst I'm doing the cauliflower. Absolutely no doubt these are going to have whitefly on them as well. Let's take that off there. It's a nice little one. I'll take that one as well. It's only a little one, but I may as well take. It's just infested with whitefly, this stuff. If you leave broccoli in, it'll try and put more seed out like that, so it'll put a new head out. I'm a bit late cutting that one because it's opened up, but beside that I'm just going to take these plants out now, and I'll put a sowing of something in here. So there is the harvest for the 29th of September. The infected bed, dressed with compost yesterday or the day before. Well, let's start getting some beans in here, eh? I brought these down. I'd already put some beans in modules, and then it suddenly occurred to me, why don't I just put them in wet cloth and chip them and then plant them direct rather than messing about with composting pots. So guys, that's what I've done. These are only 2 days, so already they've thrown these little tiny chits out. You can see that's the root, the little root tip coming out of the bean. The only thing is, if you do this, just be very careful you don't damage those little root tips. So there you go, there's the broad beans. Incidentally, these broad beans could have even been grown in this bed this year, because these were the beans put in March, April for green manure. So I've collected all this seed. There's a hole in that one, something's eaten it, a couple of holes, but the bean's still growing. So yeah, I collected all this green manure, dried the beans out, just put them in a bag, and we're ready to put them in again now. So there we go, 3 bean seeds. They're only 2 days in from being put in this pot. There's loads of holes in that one, actually. There's 3. Right, all I'm going to do, I'm going to have to net this bed though, because the mice or the rats will smell these as they germinate. They give off CO2, and the rats and mice will dig them up. So my first row of corn is probably going to be there. Let's get a few of these in. Just plant them just about twice the height of the bean. Yes, that you see is the root tip coming out, so you may as well just poke that downward and you'll get a bit in a little bit quicker. What am I putting these? About 6 inches apart. And there we go, that's the first row in. So beans there, we'll put another row there that are just going to be between the corn. The remainder of the 80 beans are still at home, so probably some of them will chit today. And then tomorrow I'll bring some more down and I'll just work my way down the bed, just planting them as they chit. I'll be taking these beans out when I plant the corn. I just don't want the bean to be exactly where I put the corn plant, because I'll end up having to dig all the root out, so that wouldn't be a good idea, would it? I'd rather just leave the bean roots intact and just plant the corn next to that, so the corn can take advantage of the root zone, the nitrogen, the bacteria and fungi that are around the root system. Chitted some more beans some more beans chitted last night. I've got them in somewhat. You see where this stick is there by the pot, the metal rod? I've got half the bed with beans in now. The others haven't quite chitted, they're just about to. I'll put them in tomorrow, but I will put the net on today because there's so many beans in now that they're gonna find them and dig them up. Let's get you updated on the garlic, eh? So here we are, here's my garlic. This particular row here is that messidrome I bought, and them 3 rows there are my own safe seed garlic. But it's doing really well. A couple of these are a little bit crooked because I hadn't even realised the net was laid on the surface over them, stopped them being dug up. Hadn't even noticed, but the garlic was up, so these shoots have been trying to push the net up and they've got a little bit bent. They'll be okay though. You can already see that we've got a nice covering of weed in here. Some of this is weed that has made it through the compost bin, not all of it, because we've got some tomatoes, little baby tomatoes growing here. This is the lamb's lettuce, which set seed a few years ago and it continues to come up. I really don't mind that because I will let some of this lamb's lettuce grow because we can use that, but the vast majority of this is actually tomato that's coming up. And then we've got little bits of chickweed. But soldier, have we got any soldier in here? We probably have. More tomato, bulky salt. So there's soldier there, there's one there. That's that kind of thistly, spiky thistly stuff. There's another soldier there, another one there. Just shows you guys how this stuff can just spread in on you. I've never had this before, this weed. Another one there and there. And this is obviously just blown in while this soil's been empty. Another one. There's quite a lot of it. Again, there's quite a lot of it at that end of the bed, hence it's blown in this way. So the bulk of that weed there on that end of the bed is that soldier weed, which I'm just going to go through today and pull it all out to get rid of it. Don't give it a chance. And say what else I've spotted in here. I am just going to pot up today. This is a welcome site as a weed, very welcome. And this is why I always think that leaving my lettuce to go to seed is a good thing, because this is self-seeded Lola Rosso lettuce here that's coming up. So I am going to transplant these into this little module tray, and they'll go into the polytunnel now and they'll be grown on over winter. Yes, we have a couple more here. I should be able to fill this tray with lettuce seedlings now, because there's some on the edge of this path as well. This is a particular flower that's growing in the border that's very, very abundant and very vigorous, and it has a lot of the seed in here. But you only pull this once, guys. As long as you don't let this go to seed or grow up fully, which you wouldn't because it's a really tall plant, it's maybe 2 foot high. So that comes out naturally and you've never got to deal with it again. And then there's all these tomato seedlings growing in this as well. But I've got more lettuce here in the path, just on the edge of this path. So I'm going to take all these out because they just get trampled on as I walk up and down the beds. There's about another 5 there, and then there's a couple down the rest of this path as well. Let's get them out and get them potted on. So there we are, there's 2 trays of mostly Oloroso seedlings there. So that's 20 little plants that can just be grown on a little bit in there, and then they can live in the tunnel over winter, hopefully still get some leaves off them. Right guys, who remembers the purple sprouting broccoli fiasco with the clubroot in the pots? So here we are. Now I can plainly see that these haven't got clubroot because they're growing really strong. The only one that's suspect is probably that one, and the one on the end. They're a little bit smaller, although they are growing. They're quite a little bit smaller. They've got some whitefly on them. You can see it there underneath the leaves. So I'm just going to make up a chili spray tomorrow. I didn't actually bring any with me. I'll make up a chili spray tomorrow. Look at them all there, and give them a spray and get rid of that whitefly. But other than that, they're good. I've also just discovered I've got a load more little lettuce growing in here, some Olorosos and some other ones, so I'm just going to get another tray and pop these up as well. It's so much easier, isn't it, than sowing seeds in pots and waiting for them to germinate. They're here, they're growing, they've germinated. Wonderful. So yeah, that's the broccoli. It's a broccoli situation. So far there was 3 that started to wilt and went down, and you know the leaves wilt when it's sunny, so you know they've got clubroot. So 3 have been taken out, including the first one, which I replaced, which that one hasn't got clubroot. Well, it didn't have when I put it in the ground anyway, but it's growing. But these are looking really healthy, these now. Just need to control this whitefly though, because that won't do them any good at all. Guys, there's another mountain of material here to be run through the chipper for the compost bin. And this stuff, plus I've got another huge pile of apples to run in the bin. Now the thing is, that bin, which I'm currently loving because it's so hot and active, there's going to be too much here to put in that bin. I'm going to get all this stuff chipped up anyway. It'll easily fill this huge wheelbarrow, and I can always kind of use what I can use and then leave the rest in that bin, put a sheet over it or something. Quite a few people seem to actually have this chipper, or the other version of it, the mulcher. And the one thing I would say about it is just make sure your blades are sharp. If you're having problems chipping or mulching anything, just make sure your blades are sharp, because it makes a huge difference to how it performs. Right, let's get it going. That beautiful material. This corn has been drying for maybe two or 3 weeks on some back of someone's allotment. Basically it's a grass, isn't it? But it's a grass in chunky form. It's going to have loads and loads of air gaps in it, so it can just go on as it is because it's partially brown and it shouldn't slump too badly. I'm going to start putting this in, and I'm just going to layer a little bit of that conifer wood chip in with it. The apples, I'm not going to put them in with this, because I think this is going to fill the bin. I don't know where I am in these videos, but I put this in this morning, this stuff on the top here, just a bit of rubbish, and I've got a little bit more soldier. A little bit more soldier there. It's also coming up at the back of the allotment, this stuff as well now, in the green manure I just sowed up there. It's almost like I'm sowing soldier. There's so much of it coming up. Oh, this heap will absolutely love this. It's going to love it. It's going to get everything hot, even the corners and the sides. They're just going to be screaming hot. These bins are hungry beasts, these hot bins, very hungry. There is a bit of wood chip in this stuff as well, as you saw at the beginning. There's some dams and limbs that someone was cutting back, and there's some bay, well the bay leaves, which have now been chipped and are going in here. Can you imagine the smell, guys, tomorrow when the bay leaves are cooking, when that celery's cooking, when the beans are cooking? It's going to smell like Sunday dinner tomorrow. Like a Sunday roast. It'll be beautiful. Oh, and some peppers. Some Armageddon chilies, actually, they are. I'm keeping these because I mush them up, and that's what I will spray those whitefly with. A mushed up version of that, along with some water and a little bit of dish soap. It just destroys them. They don't come back. There is no coming back just from a little dose of that. Well, I didn't think I was going to get that barrel full of stuff in here, but there you go, proved me wrong again, the bin. Dropped lucky on that corn today, really lucky. So glad I found that. I'm at a stage now in the compost additions that are coming in off my site that I should have replaced any material that I've taken off to eat, which is absolutely brilliant. There's going to be at least another between 5 and 10 barrelfuls of apples to come yet, and that will seal the deal. That'll be enough material brought back onto the site to counter any losses from the vegetation, from the vegetables like potatoes and this, that and the other that I've taken away. That's the way I work it out. That's the way I work it out anyway. And what I will do tomorrow, I'll put these apples in tomorrow into there along with some more straw. And that will be wonderful, because I can see this heap really sinking overnight now. Yeah, that's going to drop down like crazy tonight when the microbes get into this material on top. Right guys, we may come back tomorrow, or I may call it a day on that and run it forward on another video. But whatever the next video will be, many things. Clearing the greenhouse, tomatoes are coming out. I've got to put my bench back because all those little lettuce seedlings that I'm gathering at the minute from around the site, they're going on the bench in there because there's going to be slugs invading soon, and they always get in the tunnel. Don't ask me how, because it's completely sealed. I may just clear the Touchon carrot bed as well. It's got about 3 or 4 rows of carrots in now. The rest of the bed's empty, so it's about time I did something with that. Very little weed in that, again almost no weed, because it's been netted since the carrots were planted in, well, since the carrots were sowed, March, April. Lovely clear bed. Now it shows you that no dig actually works. You don't get very much weed, but when you've got allotments that are covered and festooned in weed, as you saw in my last video, that stuff is drifting and swirling around the site, and it comes on your land. So, you know, people say, oh, do no dig, you don't get weeds. You do. On allotment sites, you still will, you always will. And that is the downfall of having an allotment on a site. Right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye for now.